Hello, and welcome to today's European SharePoint, Office 365 and Azure Community webinar. My name is Laura, and I'm delighted to be joined by Khoder Elzein, SVP Pre-Sales and Product Management, Theobald Software, Germany, who will present the topic Master Data Management with SAP and MS Power Platform. Remember to join in on the conversation about today's webinar on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @EuropeanSP and our hashtag is #ESPC23. Don't forget to check out the Resource Centre. This is updated daily with the latest blogs, ebooks, webinars and how-to videos. Simply visit sharepointeurope.com and click the Content tab at the top. Continue your learning by joining us for our next webinar, Introducing Power Pages, taking place tomorrow, Friday, January 27th from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. CET. For full details, please check out sharepointeurope.com/Power Platform Week. Apologies, that webinar is actually taking place today, Thursday, January 26th from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. CET. Last November, over 2,000 SharePoint, Office 365 and Azure community professionals joined us in Copenhagen for ESPC 22. We now have an amazing showreel video full of ESPC 22 highlights. Visit sharepointeurope.com to watch this brief recap of all the learning, development, networking and fun that was had over this amazing 4-day event. Next week, we are launching our ever popular 2-for-1 offer on ESPC 23 tickets. This unmissable offer is valid for 1 day only, so be sure to get in early to snatch up this unbeatable deal before it's too late. This is a limited offer, so mark your calendars so you don't miss out on this one-time deal. Make sure to visit sharepointeurope.com next week to avail of this offer. The ESPC 23 call for speakers is now officially open. Be part of something truly special. Speak and engage with leading experts, IT professionals, developers and business decision makers at ESPC 23, Europe's premier Microsoft 365 and Azure conference. This is your chance to take a leading role within the conference and the community, sharing your in-depth knowledge, passion and experience with your peers, in turn helping empower the Microsoft 365 and Azure community to professional success. Please visit sharepointeurope.com/submit-speak-ESPC to find out more. After the webinar, we will have a questions and answers session. Type any questions you might have into the questions window. Questions will be selected and answered at the end of the presentation. This webinar will be recorded and added to the Resource Centre, where you will be notified by email when it is available. And now I'm going to pass you over to our webinar presenter, Khoder. Hello, Khoder.
Hello, Laura, and thank you so far for the introduction. And I'm very happy to be today here with you and with our attendees to talk about SAP integration with Microsoft Power Platform. I have shared my screen. I hope that everyone can see that.
Yeah, we can see that, Khoder.
Okay, perfect. So now I would start. As we have talked, our webinar today is about master data management, especially between SAP and Microsoft Data Platform. Before I start with the webinar, let me introduce myself. So my name is Khoder Elzein. I am responsible for product management and pre-sales in the EMEA region, and I will be today here responsible for the webinar. I have prepared the following agenda for today. I would introduce our company, Theobald Software, and our solution portfolio, and then after that I would give you product architecture, our product yunIO. That would be the solution for the integration between SAP and Microsoft Power Platform. And then I have a scenario about SAP Master Data Management that I would show you in a live demo, and then after that I would talk about the next possible steps and discuss any questions. Okay, that's so far about the agenda. Now let's start with an overview about our company, Theobald Software. The company has been founded in 2004. We are an independent software vendor specialized in the development of SAP connector of SAP integration platforms. We have more than 60 employees worldwide, and we are serving more than 3,500 SAP customers worldwide, from all industries, and that include international companies, but even middle companies and so far. We have a big partner network. So, for example, Microsoft and SAP are two of our main partners. We are an SAP certified partner. Our software is also SAP certified, and we have a big partner network regarding consulting and implementation. And this partner would, in general, help our customers with the projects if the customer have need for that. Our headquarters is in Germany, where I'm based, but we have other offices, for example, in Seattle, USA, which is responsible for the US and America market, and we have also other offices, for example, in China and in France. That is so far about the overview of our company. Now let's see together our solutions or our solution portfolio. As we are software vendor for SAP integration, for SAP connectors, so all you see here are SAP connectors for different areas. On the left side, we have we offer here SAP products, SAP integration products for master data extraction. So here, in general, the scenario would be that the customer would like to make reporting dashboards or to build data warehouse or data lake and so far, and bring the SAP data into that data lake or data warehouse. Here we offer different solutions. Our main solution is here Exact Universal. That is our universal SAP extraction platform that can bring data into different BI solutions and cloud and on-prem data warehouses and so far. But we have also other solutions that can be embedded in platforms like Alteryx or like integration services, SQL Server integration services and so far. So that's on the left side for reporting, analytics, data warehouses and so far. Here on the right side, we have we talk here more about process integration, and our main focus today is our product yunIO. So let's check the architecture together. So at first, what is yunIO and why it's used? So yunIO is a web-based SAP integration platform that customer can use it to connect to their ERP system, S/4HANA systems, and so far. The systems can be hosted on-prem or in the cloud. It supports all SAP modules, no restrictions so far. And yunIO can create the connection to the SAP system, to the SAP application server directly, and can read data, for example, from SAP tables. Let's say we need to search, for example, for SAP customer for materials. So we need read access for that. Yeah, that can be done, for example, by access data from SAP tables and from SAP views. And yunIO can offer that as a REST service, as we see here. And this REST service supports the Open API definition, or the so-called Swagger definition. Yeah, so that's supported too. And then any application, it can be an RPA application, it can be a business workflow, and so far. It can be just in a SharePoint app, and a PowerPoint app, or mobile app, or a data management solution can access that web service. So yunIO offers not only read access but also write access to the SAP system. The scenario would be, for example, as we talk today about master data management. That means I have an SAP master data for materials, for customers, for vendors, and so far. So I can create and update that master data from the external lab. In general, on the SAP side, I would use a function module for that. The function module in SAP is used in this case to update, example given, the customer master data. And the new option that we have is the transaction recorder. That means on SAP side, let's say would like to update vendor master data, and for this case there is no function model available, so the user can just record the transaction that he has in his SAP system, and that can be also provided again as a REST service. And then the consumer, for example, the Microsoft Power Platform or any other web app, can use that REST service to execute the transaction in SAP and to update, for example, the vendor master data. So that is here the big overview of yunIO. I have prepared a live demo for that. So now I would switch here to our web browser. And here what you see in this case, I have Power App to update customer master data. So at first here, as you see, I have a list of SAP customers. So I can here search for that. So that is here when we search, it's actually only a read access. And again, read access in general can be used on the SAP side by reading data from the SAP tables or from the SAP views. Okay, so let's say let's search here for a customer. Okay, so that is here the customer name. I have here the customer name and the customer number. I can click here to see the details. So I have here further information, like, for example, the city and the postal code and street number and so far. So let's say in this demo that I have, I would like you to change, for example, the street number. Yeah, it's not correct. It's not 34. It's 54, for example. Okay, then let's click here on save. Okay, so now I have saved here. I have changed the data in the Power App. In the background, I have then our automate flow that would run, and that would run and push that data into the SAP system. Okay, let's see if it will run here. As you see, I have tested that some minutes ago, and we can check the log of that. Okay, so here is the case. As an intermediate for the scenario, I'm using here, as you see, a SharePoint list. So that means the Power App with the SharePoint list to put the data, and from there I check when an item in the SharePoint list is changed. Yeah? And in this case, I am calling here the web service, the SAP customer change. And this web service is provided by yunIO. We will see that then later. And here in the service, what I do is I provide some parameters, some data that come from the Power App, and I would run that. And when it runs, then I get again the message from the SAP that's successful. And after that, then I would send the email. So that is just in this case a demo scenario. Okay, now if we check it again, so now we see that happened here. That's successful. 20 seconds ago again, and we can check here. Okay, so that is it here, and that is here the customer number. And now if I go and check in my SAP system, we go to my SAP GUI client and check the address that we have changed for this customer. Okay, so now let me log in here to my SAP system. Okay, and now let's check for the customer. Now I need the customer number. That was here the customer number. And now if I check, then you see here I have the update, the changes directly in the SAP system. Okay, so now the question is, if I go here in the flow and show you how we call that web service. Yeah, so this is here the web service. So how do we call this web service? It's just a custom connector that we have. And to see that here, we go here and check here our custom connectors. And then here you see I have an SAP customer change. Yeah? And if I go to edit, so here we have all the options, but you can go directly and see here this worker editor. Yeah? So we support this worker definition of the web service. So you see here that the web service offered. That is here the URL, and that is the port, and that is here the technical name of the service, and then here we have the parameters. And here if you go to our okay, that is here. Here if we go to our yunIO dashboard, so here you see again the services that we have, and that is the list of all the services available and so far. And here I have open here the SAP customer change services that we have. Here we see that some details about that. For example, here we see the function model that is used on the SAP side. That is here the name of that. So I can show you that in SAP, how that's look like. Okay, so that is here the function module. Okay, and then here if you check, we have input parameters. That's this one here, and then we have here export parameter. It's just one export. Yeah? Okay, so here the input parameter, as you see, we have many parameters, and that is here the same. We see all of them here. Yeah? Okay, so here we see, for example, we can have just simple scalar parameters. For example, this one here, that is a customer number. Yeah? And here I can show, in this case, if I would like to use this one here and supply the value by the column, or if I would like to just use the default value defined in SAP system. So I can do that for each parameter. And for the case, if it is a list of parameters, like this one here, so I can select for each value in this list if I would like to use the default value, or if I would like to supply it by the column. So that's all. And for the export parameter, I have here the option if I'd like to have it in the output in the result. Yeah? And here the same, if it is a list of values, so I can select that for each one. Okay, so that is how it works. But now, if you like, I can create it again and show you how we can really do that. Okay. So let me here, then I have here yunIO locally. So let me click here on add service. But before that, in general, you need an SAP connection. So I have created here under connections, and that can be in connection to an ECC system, to an S/4HANA system, and so far. Here in the connection, you would define your host, your instance number, your client, and so far. You need an SAP user with the access rights, and so far. I can here click on test connection and be sure that the connection is fine. Okay, so that is connection to an ECC system. I can create a connection to an S/4HANA system and so far, and that's all possible. Okay, let's create here a demo, a function model. Let's see, demo update customer using a function model. And here, as you see, I select the connection. I have just one connection, and here I select the type. Would I like to connect to a function model? In this case, yes, I will do that. And these are the other two options that we have. Yeah, as I told you at the beginning, for example, for reading access, I would access directly in SAP table, or maybe if I'd like to record the transaction. So for my scenario, what I have used is a function model. So let's say okay, and let's say an edit. And now I can directly here search for my customer name for my function model. Yeah, so you see that, but as you see, I can here search. So for example, if I have many options, that's possible. So I just select here the function model, and when I select it, so again here you see the parameters or the parameters available. Yeah, so in this case, let's say or for the input parameter, I need only this one here. So I would to supply the value for the customer number. Let's say here maybe the distribution channel and the color. Yeah, that's fine. And maybe here the sales organization. So I have selected that, and if I go now here to the export, and let's say I would like here to have the whole return value with all the values here. Yeah, just say okay. Okay, so that is here our example. Now here you see I have here the Swagger OpenAI definition. So either I can download that, the JSON file, or I can just copy the URL for that. So now the URL is copied. Okay, go ahead. So URL is copied. And now, for example, if I go to inspector and I just here pass my URL and let's parse it. Okay, so that is here, and let me now click on post. So now what you see is the following. Yeah? So here, these are the body parameters that we have created. Yeah? I have selected just 4, and we see that here that is available here, so that then I can here provide the values, and after that I can run the execute the function. So sure, for the real scenario, as you have seen, we need more values. Yeah? We need more values, but just here to make it simple. Let me show you here another example. For example, if you'd like to have just read access. Yeah? In this case, let's use here the table, and let's say read, let's say material description. And let's say okay. And now let's search for a table that deliver the material description. So that is this table here. Now I can select it. So here again, this table has so many columns. So either I select all the columns or the column that I really need. For example, I just read the material number and I just read the material description. And now I can here set a where clause, a filter. This filter would be used on the SAP side. And let's say the filter should be equal to English in this case. So that's fine. And now let's say okay. And now let's see here our service material description. And here again, let me copy the URL, the JSON URL. And now if I go here again and parse it, so now I have this one. So let's click here on post. Okay, so now it's available in the body. I have only here the filter that I've created. Yeah? And in this case, if you ask about authentication, so I am working here on my local host. For this case, for this scenario, I don't have any authentication. It's just anonymous, for example. But for the one here that you have used in Power App, so you have authentication. Okay, so let's test here and let's click now on send. Okay, so now if I scroll down here, as you see, I get here the result. So that is here the list of material in my SAP system, material number, and including the material description in English as we have this defined. I would like to change that here. For example, let's say, let's take D for German, for example, and send it again. Okay, so you see now I have the description in German. And sure, here I can extend my where clause. So that's just one filter. I can create another filter using and, or, and so far. So I can use any where clause that is defined and supported by the SAP system. Okay, so now we have seen that we can use that here in the Swagger definition. And then it's very easy then to create really the custom connector in the Microsoft Power Platform for that. Okay, so the first scenario was here with the simple app in Power App, but sure you can do that, for example, in Excel again. Yeah. So here, if you have a list of your customer, it can be a list of your materials and so far, no problem. And then you can, for example, use again Power Automate, where you have the view flow for that. You see here I have, let me open this flow here. So I have run that flow where I can update my customer master data directly from the Excel workflow, from the Excel and using the workflow. Okay, that's good so far. And now I would like to show you the other option that we have when we create a service. We have seen here we have an option to create a function model, we have an option to create an SAP table, and we have an option to record the transaction, SAP transaction. Yeah? That's still in preview, but that's really very, very powerful. Yeah? And let's see here an example again in SAP. So this here is really very useful when I need to record transaction in SAP, for example, to update customer master data, to update material, to update vendor, and so far, or to change, to create, and so far. For example, I have here a transaction that's called XT, as you see, 0T02. And this transaction is used, for example, to change customer data. Yeah, let me set here a customer number. Let's say okay. And now, as you see here, I can set here. I can change anything here. Yeah, no problem with that. And I can change the title, the name, the search term, street, house number, the street. As you see, so many options I have. But let's say I would like just here to set just the street. That's all what I will do for the moment. Yeah. So So that is here a typical action that an SAP user would do it directly in the SAP query. Yeah? And now I can do here the same in yunIO directly. Let me show you that. Let me create a transaction. Let's call it demo transaction customer change. And let me go here and select transaction. Let's click save and edit. So here directly in the browser now, I can start. I need the transaction code for that. So that is in this case XT02. Just an example. The same would run with all transactions, with other transactions in SAP. That's sure. Yeah. So let's click here on start. And now, as you see, as we have seen in the SAP, the first was to set the customer number. So let's set it to customer number 1000, for example. Let's set again submit. And here you see we have all the values that were available in SAP. Yeah. So for example, I have here this one here, the street and house number. Let's call it, for example, 20. I can change here any other one if I like. Yeah. That's all. And then when I'm finished, I would say I can say again here customer and save. Okay, so now I have saved my transaction steps, as you see here. In the first one, I have set here the customer number, and let me save that at first. Okay, that is it here, the customer. So, okay, in the first step, as you see, I have set the customer number. So if I would like to use this as a parameter, I just click on that here. I would define, would I like to have it as an input or an output parameter? Let's say input parameter. That is the technical name in SAP, but I can change it. Let's say it is customer number, for example. So that is more user friendly, so I can use it later. And if I go to the next screen, for example, I would like to set this one here. So just click on that. That is here, as you see, the technical name. Again, in SAP for the field, for the parameter, I can change it again. And let's say it is, I would set it as a customer stream, and that should be an input parameter. Yeah? Let's say, okay. Yeah? And I can do, as you see, I can do that here for every field that I really need. Okay, let's click here on save. And now if you'd like, we can try that again. So let me go here and just copy here the URL for that. And let's go again to my inspector. So let's delete the old definition. Let's here load our new definition and let's parse it. Okay, that's our service. Let's click here on post and let's click here on send. Okay. And now if we check here again, as you see, we have recorded our transaction. In the transaction, in this case, we are just using two parameters, yeah? The customer number and the customer street parameters. Okay, and now if you like here, let's see that. Okay, let's go here out. Okay, and now let's try it. Let's take, for example, 21. Let's say set this customer street for this customer number, and let's say send. Okay, so now the transaction, as you see, is successful. I get the message from SAP, changes have been made. And now if I go here, I can check it. So to check it, I need here again the number, and you say okay. Okay, and you see now here the house number is 21, yeah? As I have done. And so then you have here really all possibilities. Let's try it again with 22 and check it again. And again, changes have been made. That the message that we get from the SAP side, and here if I check it again, say okay, and then again you have here the changes directly in the SAP system. Yeah. So here the big benefit that you have is really you can use it for any transaction in SAP, to update master data, that's for sure, especially for the cases where you don't have a function module, but you can use it for any other transaction in financials, in sales, in logistics, and that's all is possible, or just for test automation, for example. Or just to input data in your SAP system when you create migration from the SAP system, for example, from the ECC system to S/4HANA system. Okay, that's all. And again, the big benefit is that you can use here directly the Swagger Open API definition. You can create directly here your connectors. Your connectors in Power Automate, as you see here, this custom connectors can be used then by Power Apps, and can use them in Excel and so far. But for other scenarios, you can, if you have, let's say, a SharePoint application or a mobile application, you can access directly that REST services. So any application that can just consume a REST service can do that. Then you have really the whole and all the possibilities of the SAP integration for reading and writing and recording transactions in SAP. Okay, that was so far from my side regarding the live demo. Let me now switch again to my presentation. So now here you see we have references in really any industry you need. Yeah. Here just some example. For example, if you go here to automotive and aerospace, you just see here some of our customers in this area, and we offer the same here for all other industrials. Yeah? You would find these references on our website too. Yeah. So if you have interest, just go to our website and check that again. And what we have is we offer success stories. Let me see if I have that here, but I can show you that here directly on the website. If you go to our website, for example, you would find here directly under resources our success story. That is the description of use cases that how our customers are using our product and so far. So here you can, for example, filter and so on, select the product, for example, yunIO, and that is here our new success stories. Yeah, about the customer with yunIO. The company is Hightex, and they use it again here for data transfer between SAP and Microsoft Power Platform. The use case, our use case of today. Okay, so what we offer and what can be the next steps on your side. So we offer an online help, that is our technical documentation, where you would find everything about how to install, to configure yunIO, and what are the requirements and so far. We offer also knowledge base where you would find best practices and our recommendations. And sure, we offer different webinars as today. You can check that all on our website, and we would help you with our support team and with our consulting team, especially at the beginning if you'd like to make POC and so far. So our support team would be sure happy to help you with that. And sure, you are welcome to download our trial version. You would download it directly from our website, and it's valid for 30 days. It's free. It includes all the features with the full scope. So for example, everything that we have seen today, create services by reading data from SAP tables, using function models on SAP side to create or change orders, any data in SAP, any function model. It can be standard function model, it can be custom function model. No problem with that, and ensure at least the transaction recorder. So the full scope is there, and that includes sure support, free support from our side during the whole evaluation. Yeah. And that's so far what I would like to show you is just when you go to our website again, let me show that. It's very easy here, just click here on free trial. Yeah. And then you have directly here the form, well, just fill it and you can then get the trial version and start with that. Okay, that is so far now from my side. Now I would be happy to discuss with you your questions and see which questions do you have.
Thanks, Khoder, for a great presentation. So we'll get straight into the question and answers part now. So should you wish to ask a question, please feel free to type it into the questions window now. So our first question today is, someone is asking, I noticed the presentation mentions S4/HANA. Will this product work with SAP Business One?
Okay, so we support technically all SAP system that offers RFC connectivity. Yeah, RFC is the protocol that is used. RFC stands for Remote Function Call. So all the SAP system, including ECC and S4HANA, that offer RFC are supported. So SAP system that don't offer RFC are not supported.
Brilliant, thanks, Khoder. And then another person is just asking, they say, okay, now I probably understand the yunIO setup of the transaction change, but what is needed on the Power Apps/Flow side to integrate it to work with the yunIO transaction that are available via that custom connector?
That's really easy. So again, when you hear in yunIO, when you create, you create a REST service, as we have done that. Yeah. If you go here, so here you have the definition for the transaction. That's all. And then here you have the REST service. And again, as I've told you, then here you have the Swagger definition. That is here the Swagger definition. I copy that. And let me show you that definition here again. Yeah, so that is here the Swagger definition. And in the Swagger definition, as you see here, I have here for my transaction, I'm using as an example just the customer number and just the customer street. Yeah, so you see here everything would run, that's fine. And then what you do is when you are in let me say here, when you are in the Power Platform, that you see you can create a custom connector. Yeah? So that's what you see here. And to create a custom connector, as you see, you can import an Open API file, either from URL, as we have done, or from the Open API file. And that's also supported. Yeah? So here, if I go here, you see I have two options, Open API file or Open URL. So that's all, you just here import it. Yeah? And here I've shown you the example that I have. So that is here my custom connector that I have created. If I go here to edit, and if you check here this Swagger file, so that is here the Swagger definition that we have. Yeah? And the other option would be, let me go here again, is well, that you can define that step by step. Yeah, where you define here the host number, the host, and so far. You can here then define the security. In my case, I'm using basic authentication and so far. And for the definition, you need just the name and so far. So that's possible, but the easiest way is really here to use this Waka definition that we have. We offer, we support that, and we offer that in our online help. That's well documented. That's well documented how to work with that. You are welcome to try that, and to find our documentation is very easy. Let me go here to help.theobald-software.com. So that's available for free, and here you would find yunIO. And when you click on that, so here you have all the documentation, and that include here the integration scenario. Here regarding Swagger, for example, to work with Postman and so far. So please try that, or feel free to contact me after the webinar, and we'd be happy to support you with that. So I hope that I have answered the question so far.
Brilliant, thanks Khoder. And just another question in here, someone is asking, what is the benefit of using this solution / connector over, for example, using native Fiori apps from S/4HANA for changing or displaying data?
Okay, so we have here different features. The first one is, as we are using RFC, we are not restricted to specific SAP systems. So, for example, all the SAP systems are supported. We have a minimal installation, minimal configuration on the SAP side. What you need on the SAP side is really just the connection. As you have seen, you need the connection, and you need here, you have here a user that has the access rights for that. That's all. And then here you can, without any help, without any configuration, without any installation on the SAP side, you can just create here out of the box a REST service based directly on your SAP tables and view, no restriction, all SAP standard tables, your custom tables, and so far. On any function model for read and write access, and what's very, very important is that you can record the transactions directly. And then you have here the REST service, that's Worker Open API, that you can use it everywhere. Microsoft Power Platform is just an example, but you can use it for integration with Dynamics, you can use it for integration with Salesforce, with other platforms, with your custom development apps if you have, or applications. We have customer who have, let's say, they have HR systems and they would like to integrate their HR systems with the SAP system. And in this case, it's really very easy to use these web services that are here very easy and user-friendly to create. Okay, I hope that I have answered the questions. And again, if you need more info, you are welcome to contact us.
Brilliant, thank you, Khoder. So just in relation to the question before the one you just answered there, they're asking, to make it work with SAP HANA, is there any premium feature or something to enable so we are allowed to connect with the yunIO to our hosted SAP HANA instance? They usually ask for additional money for external services to work with their SAP services. Is this true for yunIO solution also? Thanks.
Okay, so again, every SAP system that support RFC connectivity is technically supported. That include S/4HANA on-prem, that include S/4HANA in private cloud. So you have to check technically which S/4HANA version do you have. So S/4HANA private cloud is supported because it supports RFC connectivity technically. If we talk about licensing, for example, that's another topic that is a difficult topic. So you have to check your agreement with SAP. You have to check your license agreement and so far. So that is again another difficult topic.
Okay. Brilliant, Khoder. Thanks a million. So that's all the questions that we have in today. So just on behalf of the ESPC community, we would like to extend a huge thank you to you, Khoder, for taking the time to carry out this webinar today. We really do appreciate it. So this is
Thank
the end
you
of...
for the organization.
Yeah, no problem at all. It was our pleasure to have you.
Yes, Laura.
So
Continue.
this is the end of today's webinar. So you can find this webinar and more at sharepointeurope.com/resource center. Thanks again to everyone for joining us today. Take care and goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Goodbye.